Welcome back to Minnesota Black Robe Regiment channel. Thanks for tuning in. Just going to get this out of the way at the top. If you like the content, subscribe. If you don't like the content, subscribe and watch my videos and then comment on them and call me all sorts of names, because that's never happened before. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit today about the last couple of weeks, and having watched Governor Tim Walz really ramp up the veiled threats, if you will, towards Minnesota. Governor Walz, in conjunction with media outlets like KARE 11, Minnesota Public Radio, and others, has really been driving at the uptick in positive tests for COVID-19. There's been daily updates of the number of people that are dying, and there again, anybody who dies of COVID-19, it's a tragic death. No more tragic than all the people who are dying from car accidents, alcoholism, suicide, drug-related deaths, many of which have had a larger percentage increase since the COVID-19 measures went into place than have actually been killed by COVID-19 in the state of Minnesota. You would believe, from the way the governor talks about it and the Minnesota Department of Health talks about it, and the way KARE 11 and other outlets talk about it, that the only people that have died in the state of Minnesota since the middle of March have all died because of or with COVID-19. Well, Minnesota's lost a lot more than 2,500 people since the middle of March. We've seen, once again, an uptick in suicides. We've seen an uptick in drug overdoses, alcohol-related deaths. We're seeing an uptick in mental health referrals. People who are experiencing more and more depression, anxiety, just all sorts of stuff. But for the last couple of weeks, the governor has been really driving home the need for everyone to comply with mask, facial covering mandates, social distancing. And now the governor, in a post from yesterday, October 27th, the governor stated in this post, "Your actions can help save lives, even if you're not at high risk. Don't help this virus spread to people who might be. Take the simple measures seriously. Mask up, avoid crowds, maintain social distance." Now, that follows on the heels of several other posts along the same lines. Things like, "Oh, I know that we're all sick of COVID-19," and no, Governor, we're not sick of COVID-19. We're sick of the measures that have been put in place. COVID-19 hasn't really made that many people sick in the state of Minnesota. And you're not talking about all the people who have recovered in the state of Minnesota, Governor. You're only talking about how COVID-19 has impacted everyone. And COVID-19 hasn't impacted that many people, Governor. Yes, 2,500 people dead. 2,500 people minimum have been impacted. So 5,000 people minimum have been impacted by the 2,500 that have been impacted personally. But what's really impacting people, Governor, is the economic disaster that you've created by destroying the backbone of small business in the state of Minnesota, by destroying the agricultural drive in the state of Minnesota, by destroying greater Minnesota with the economic destruction that you've done with all of your COVID-19 measures. Once again, keep in mind, when you do this, you're safe. you're safe. Like right now, it's going to be impossible for me to get COVID-19. Even if I were standing in the room of a COVID-19 patient, intentionally inhaling all of their COVID-19 laden moisture particles, as long as I'm drinking coffee, I can't get sick. Anyway, aside from that, the sad thing is that here in the people's state of Minnesota, people are pleading with the governor to order another lockdown. Now, he's going to use this. He's going to say, look, the people want this, and it's coming. I would be surprised if it doesn't hit us by Friday of this week, so the 30th of October. I would be shocked if we're not in lockdown again. That being said, people, like I said, are begging him. Here's a couple of comments, right? Here's a person on his wall under this most recent status update from the governor. We need a shutdown and an emergency relief package for individuals and businesses put out of work. If we can bail out banks and other large industries, we can bail out small businesses too. Okay, Gabby, cognitive dissonance much? You're begging the governor to destroy the economic base of the state of Minnesota and then begging the governor to bail out small businesses and individuals. With what, Gabby? With what? We've already destroyed people and their lives with these COVID-19 measures by deeming them non-essential workers, ordering them to stay home, and then infusing them with unemployment and then an injection into that infusion of an extra boost of unemployment money. Where's that going to come from, Gabby? When you destroy the economic base of a state, you can't bail out other people. As I was saying before sorry, this part will be edited. But it's actually apropos that an emergency alert came on as I was doing this. But when you destroy the economic base of a state, when you destroy the backbone of small business, who's going to be there to pay the taxes that you're going to need for a bailout? You're going to go to the federal government? This is happening all over the country. Some of the wealthiest states are destroying their economies to protect their people from a virus that has a better than 97% survival rate. What good is that going to do, Gabby? Do you think don't think they won't, but they're just supposed to magically print more money and flood the market with fiat currency so that we can bail people out when we've told them to stay home and lose their jobs and lose their income? To lock them down in their homes when they're healthy. Quarantining the healthy to protect the vulnerable instead of putting the vulnerable on quarantine or lockdown and letting the healthy go back out and do what they need to do, which is work to pay for their lives. Are you kidding me? This is Marxism. That's what it is. It's Marxism. It's appeal to the social base. And it goes against the very fiber of everything that the United States was built on. The government was never intended by the founders of this country, the founding fathers. Yes, I said it, the founding fathers. I know it's terrifying. Oh, the patriarchy. And the misogyny. But the founding fathers of this country, the men who built what is now the bedrock of this nation by working through the Declaration of Independence and the preamble to the Constitution and the original 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights. This is not what they would have done. Period. And don't tell me they didn't know about pandemics and epidemics. They knew. They dealt with this stuff too. But this is not what they would have done. But it doesn't end there. Gabby's not the only one. Here's another one from a lady named Joanne. And Joanne says, it's all about doing what's right / best for the greater good. If a small thing like wearing a mask and social distancing and washing our hands, which we should have always been doing, can potentially save even one life, I'm in. It's all for the greater good. That's Marxist talk. That's the not the proletariat. That's the people saying the state can mandate what's for the greater good. When you open that door, Joanne, where are you going to stop? How are you going to determine when you've done the greatest amount of good? And for who? Based on what? And I'd venture a guess, Joanne, that all of you pro-mask mandate, facial covering requirement people talking about if it saves even one life you're in, would all be the same people who would be standing down at the abortion clinic demanding that people shut up and go away and let women murder their children in utero. So don't tell me how you're all of a sudden now about saving even one life when you do not care about murdering babies in the womb. There's even more. Princess Roberts says, I wish you could put in place penalties for not wearing masks. I still see too many people not wearing them or leaving their noses hanging out. There is a penalty in place. They're just not enforcing it because they know they can't. This woman wants people to be arrested. This woman, who I can almost guarantee you is the same person out there crying that we defund the police and do away with police departments, now wants the governor to put penalties in place for people not wearing masks in public and not wearing them properly. Who's going to enforce that, princess? And that's an ironic name. Who's going to enforce that, princess? Are you going to create a mask enforcement department? How are you going to enforce it? Because if I say, no, I'm not going to wear a mask, what are you going to do? Write me a ticket? Okay, what if I refuse to pay the ticket? You're going to issue a warrant for my arrest? Who's going to arrest me? And how do you arrest me if you don't carry a gun? Because the only reason anybody ever complies with law enforcement when they're being arrested is the threat of force. Understand that. No one ever willingly gets arrested. Period. You don't go, oh yeah, arrest me today. The threat of force is behind every law. The threat of force is behind every law. Every law. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only way that a law works is that the threat of force is there, and force always means up to and beyond, not just the presence of a firearm, but the use of a firearm to effect that arrest in enforcing the law. That's what this person's talking about. Shari says, then maybe do what you said and dial back. Shut down again and keep us safe. Safe from what? Shari, a virus that kills less than 2% of the people that it infects? And in the state of Minnesota, the majority of people that it's killing are in nursing homes and long-term care centers, which are shut down. You can't visit your loved ones. Now, I mean, the staff can go in and out and infect people with COVID-19, and the governor can require them, those long-term care centers, to take people who have been infected with COVID-19 into their facilities, but you can't go visit. And yet the people that are dying are people in the long-term care centers. The majority of them. It's indisputable. the statistical averages in the state of Minnesota show that the majority of people dying from COVID-19 are in nursing homes and long-term care centers. So you're going to shut us down to protect us from what, Cherie? Kyle, why are we not shutting down is my big question. This is insane, and it needs to find a way to stop it. What? We were shut down. It didn't stop it. Now you want to shut down again to not stop it again? Tammy Fritchie, he needs to step in and do something. It's getting out of control. I'd hate to see everything shut down. Maybe mandate masks. Where have you been, Tammy? 85% of the people in Minnesota are compliant with the mask mandate, and and COVID-19 is allegedly spreading even further. What do you want? Carl Green, this is one of my favorites. I'm severely disappointed in the lack of dialing back that has happened. The case count has been out of control and well above the supposed 5% level for a month or more. Every day we hear, wear a mask please, from the governor in the governor's office and the governor himself. But frankly, that doesn't cut it. Close down indoor locations again, or if any location is linked to COVID-19 cases or not following protocols, they should be closed. No second, third, fourth, fifth chances. While I understand that uncontrolled community spread is not directly linked to bars and restaurants, these options are being open convinces people it is safe to be out and about while it's not safe to any degree. Wow. This is where we're at in the United States right now. This is where we are in the people's state of Minnesota. This man is, like, it's not safe to be in public. Like, you have a better shot in the state of Minnesota right now, especially if you live in the Twin Cities and are anywhere around Minneapolis and St. Paul. You have a better chance of being gunned down in the street by an armed thug protesting against the police than you do of catching COVID-19 and dying from it. That's the truth. You have a better chance of being killed in a drug or alcohol-related accident on the road than you do of catching COVID-19 and dying from it. Statistical proof is out there. But we have a person over here saying even though bars and restaurants themselves aren't directly responsible for spreading COVID-19, they need to be closed down as an example. Ladies and gentlemen, this is leftist authoritarianism. This is fascism from the left. This is fascism. So all of these people out there protesting and rioting against fascism are actually fascists. Marxist fascism is alive and well in the state of Minnesota, and every single person supporting the governor and demanding that he shut down the state is actually demanding fascist authoritarianism. The whirring sound you hear in the distance is the bodies of the founding fathers of the United States spinning in their graves so quickly it's causing a polar or seismic shift in the gravitational field in the United States. Benjamin Franklin was asked as he was walking out of Constitution Hall at the time, it wasn't called that in Philadelphia, but as he was walking out of the Constitutional Convention, a lady in the crowd hollered, "So what is it that we have now, doctor? A monarchy or a republic?" And Benjamin Franklin, being the witty man that he was, retorted, "A republic, if you can keep it." Can we keep it, America? Can we keep this republic? Because from what I'm seeing here, it's gone. We're done. This republic is shot. We're not even a democracy. And most people say, oh, we're a democracy. No, we're a constitutional republic. We're a representative republic. We are not a democracy. We're not even a democracy anymore. We have become a people who are so dependent on our elected servants to keep us safe that we're willing to give up everything that makes us unique in the world to be safe from something that has a very small chance of killing us. We're so dependent on being safe that we will give up liberty to be secure. And once again, as our founding fathers reminded us, those who would give up liberty for safety and security deserve neither liberty or security. Stand up, Minnesota. And the rest of the United States, it's time for you to stand up as well. Sic semper tyrannis. Thus always, to tyrants.